Welcome back. Our next problem of continuous beam to be solved by MD method, moment distribution method, and the speciality of this problem is that it has got an overhanging portion. So how to handle that overhang, or what about the distribution factors and other parameters, all that we are going to see. Then one more problem we will solve, which will involve sinking of support, so that all types of beam problems will be covered, and then we will go to frames. So here is our continuous beam. Support A is fixed, support B, support C are interior roller supports, and portion CD is an overhanging portion. There is a 30 kN load acting at the free end of the overhang, 10 kN per meter UDL acting over portion BC, portion AB not loaded at all, and you have 3 meters, 4 meters, 2 meters as the spans. We are supposed to analyze this beam using moment distribution method. So as a first step, I am writing parameter calculations, and then I am determining fixed end moments. So for that I have drawn diagram AB by restraining joint B, BC by restraining joint B as well as joint C, and then portion CD, as we also saw in slope deflection method, is acting like a cantilever. Any overhanging portion is going to act like a cantilever beam. So that part I have isolated, I have shown cantilever beam CD, and since we have 30 kilonewtons here, this moment, reacting moment, is going to be 30 into 2, that is 60, that we will see in our calculations. The idea behind restraining these joints is that it is our first step in the process of iteration. Restrain, see the imbalance, try to balance, distribution, carried over, again restrain, again check the balance. This is the process of iterative analysis. So I write fixed end moment AB is equal to fixed end moment BA, both zeros. Fixed end moment BC is 13.33, standard formula we are using, is equal to minus of fixed end moment CB, because this is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise, and finally I am writing fixed end moment CD is equal to 60 kN meter positive or anti-clockwise. So see, whenever we have an overhanging portion, whenever we have sinking of support, every method has a way of handling that particular situation. And in this course we are learning 4 methods. There is slope deflection, there is MD, moment distribution, there is stiffness method, and there is flexibility method. So this is going to be taxing for students, that okay, routine problem you are solving, but when it comes to overhang, when it comes to sinking of support, then exactly in each method what is the approach? So that is something you have to take care of, that is something you have to remember. After finding fixed end moments, stiffness factors or rotational stiffnesses, we are aware 4EI upon L is the rotational stiffness when near end is hinged, far end is fixed. So K of AB, K of BA, of course same, that is 4EI upon L, span being 3 meters, I have written 4 by 3 EI. K of BC, same as of course K of CB, which is 4 EI by L, L is 4, so 4 by 4, I am getting just 1 EI. Most importantly, stiffness CD, far end is free. So if I try to rotate that portion, it will simply undergo rotation. There is not going to be offered any resistance because the other end is completely free. So if that is the case, I have written stiffness of portion CD. Isolated portion CD's stiffness is 0. It is not going to have any resistance to the moment. If I apply the moment, it will simply undergo rotation. That is the logic behind it, the far end being free, overhanging portion like a cantilever beam. Then I start with distribution factors. Already we are aware that when I think of distribution factor of member AB at A, since this wall is infinitely stiff, total moment will be absorbed by the wall and distribution factor for AB is 0. So I have written DAB equal to 0. We had opportunity to discuss this in details in my earlier lectures. Then distribution factor BA means member BA at joint B. So there I am writing stiffness of BA upon sigma stiffness at B joint. So it is going to be stiffness of BA plus stiffness of BC. Those we have written here. This is 4 by 3 plus 1. So 1.33 plus 1 means 2.33. So I have expressed in fractions 4 by 3 upon 4 by 3 plus 1, and it will eventually be 0.57. Again I am hoping, I am urging that you have pen, paper and calculator, you are actually writing, you are actually solving. Pause the video but calculate, get the value, then only proceed please. Distribution factor BC, of course I can write as K of BC upon sigma K at B, like this expression, BA will be replaced by BC. But there is another way of doing it, the summation of the two distribution factors when only two members are meeting at a joint should be 100% is 1. Summation should be 1. So I am simply calculating D of BC as 1 minus D of BA. Even if you do 1 upon 4 by 3 plus 1, you are going to get the same answer. That is your 0.43. So this is a shorter way. Only two members. When three members are meeting, for two members you have to calculate, actually the third one will be 1 minus this like that. That we will see in frames when three members, two beams and one columns are meeting, forming a T joint. So yes, I hope you are following this, you are not getting confused that why suddenly new expression has appeared. It's not like that. It is K of BC upon sigma K at B, which will be same as 1 minus distribution factor of BA, which we have already found. So it is 1 minus 0.57, that is 0.43. And then distribution factor for CB. So when you think of distribution factor for CB, it is going to be stiffness of CB divided by total stiffness at C. Now total stiffness at C means stiffness of CB plus stiffness of CD. We have already written that stiffness of CB is 1 EI and stiffness of CD is 0. So when you substitute here, you are getting numerator as 1 and denominator as 1 plus 0. Please check, so that you will actually realize. Actually substitute K of CB, that is here 1 EI, and sigma K of C, K at C, it is going to be 1 EI plus 0. EI will get cancelled of course, and I get distribution factor for CB as 1. And naturally then distribution factor for CD is 0 because its stiffness is 0. The idea is again same, that if I apply any moment here, since this end is free, this portion is not going to offer any resistance to that moment. Entire moment will be absorbed in member CB itself. That's why CD's distribution factor is 0 and CB's distribution factor is 100%, means 1. So great. Once fixed end moments, stiffnesses and distribution factors are in place, we start with our next step, that is moment distribution table, MD table. Joints are A, B, C. Members are going to be AB, BA, BC, CB, CD. That means at B joint we have on left BA, on the right BC. At C joint we have on left CB, on the right CD, like that. Vertical columns have been drawn, and then I start with distribution factors 0, 0.57, 0.43, 1 and 0. All those we have calculated here. So those I am substituting, and the meaning is very clear to me. That is the proportion in which the moments are going to be distributed when I apply the moments to balance the joints. Fixed end moments. The first step is to restrain all joints and write fixed end moments. Those also we have already calculated here. So the same I am copying. So I am getting fixed end moments MFAB, MFBA, MFBC, MFCB, MFC. Now what do I see? This is not looking like a balanced joint because we should have plus x minus x, equal and opposite give and take. Neither is this looking like any balanced joint. So we have to balance those joints. So what am I doing? Here I am finding that there is a difference of 13.33. So I apply negative 13.33, which gets distributed as negative 13.33 into 0.7, negative 13.33 into 0.43, 57%, 43%. That's why these figures are negative. Similarly, here there is an imbalance of 60 minus 13.33. Add M of CD and M of CB, add with plus minus signs, whatever remains, that is in excess. The addition should be for a balanced joint 0. M of CD plus M of CB should be 0, but we are going to get 46.67 positive. So I apply negative 46.67 at joint C to balance it. How does it get distributed? The distribution factor of CB is 1 and that of CD is 0. So the entire moment is absorbed by CB, nothing goes to CD. So when I apply negative 46.67, I get negative 46.67 into 1 and negative 46.67 into 0. So on the right side there is simplicity. Similarly, this is 0. There is no question of applying any moment or trying to balance any moment, and anyway distribution factor is 0. So I just repeat 0 here. Even if some value were here, that is fixed in moment, if I try to apply any moment, it is going to be absorbed completely by the wall. We are not getting any moment in member AB, so I am writing 0 here. Next, these moments have got distributed, but they won't remain there. Half of these will go to the other ends, carried over moments. So half of this comes here, half of this goes here, half of this goes here, half of this comes here. So these are my carried over moments. Carryover factor is half. Again I see that there is imbalance here. So I apply 23.33 positive because this is negative. I apply to balance it 23.33. It gets distributed as 0.57 into 23.33 means 13.3. 0.43 into 23.33 means 10.03. That is my distribution. Similarly, to C or to balance minus 2.865, I apply 2.865, it gets completely absorbed by CB, nothing goes to CD, the overhanging portion. Here also minus 3.8, to balance it I apply 3.8, but of course distribution factor is 0, so I simply get 1 0. Then what will happen? Carried over moments. Half of this goes here, half of this goes here, half of this goes here, half of this goes here. See, the method of writing these columns or the method of drawing these vertical lines is such that you never get confused to carry over which movement from where to where. That confusion is never there. In that column, there is the cross carrying over. In that column, in that particular member, there is the cross carrying over. It is as simple as that. Great. I have carried over movements. Again at each joint, I am observing imbalance. There is imbalance of positive 1.43. So I apply negative 1.43. 57% goes here, 43% goes here. Means 0.57 into 1.43, 0.43 into 1.43. I apply negative 5.02, entirely gets absorbed here. I apply negative 6.67, 0 is absorbed in AB. Totally it is absorbed in the wall. Carried over moment. Half of this here, half of this here, half of this there, half of this here. Check. Again, see the imbalance that is here. I again distribute these moments. This is imbalance of minus 2.51. So I apply 2.51. 2.51 into 0.57 written here. 2.51 into 0.43 written here. Negative 0.307. So I apply 0.307. Distribution factor is 1. That entire moment is absorbed here. 0 on the outside. Here we have negative 0.41. So I apply positive 0.41, but distribution factor is 0. So I simply get 0. Now that I have done 3 cycles, you are observing that this is compilation, this is collection of data, but this is our cycle 1, this is cycle 2, and this is cycle 3. So after these 3 cycles, I just take a summation of all these moments. I take summation of these moments, so on and so forth. I am observing that I have not yet reached the equilibrium, the balance of the joint. For example, when I add these values, up to here I get 6 point something, and on the other side I am getting 8 point something. So there is a difference of about 2 kilonewton meters. So you see, this is the technique, this is the process of iterative convergence, that we carry out iterations and eventually we converge at the balancing equal and opposite values. So great, since we have not yet reached the balance, and the reason could be that there is an overhang, and more than that, there is a heavy point load at one end, whereas relatively a smaller distributed load on the middle span, absolutely no load on the first span. So because of this kind of imbalanced loading, it is possible that we may require more cycles of iteration. So great, I do not stop here. I carry over these movements to the other ends as half the movements. Then here again, observing imbalance of positive 0.153, I apply negative 0.153 into 0.57 into 0.43. Here this is positive 0.54, so I apply negative 0.4, that completely is absorbed in the member, 0 in the overhanging portion. Here I am observing 0.715, so I am applying negative 0.715, I am getting 0 here, distribution factor is 0. Again, carried over movements, half here, half here, half there, half here, imbalance of negative 0.27, so I apply positive 0.27 into 0.57 into 0.43, so on and so forth. Now you are aware, because I have discussed so many cycles, this is our 4th cycle completed, this is our 5th cycle completed, and after distributing these movements, mind you, you have to stop your analysis after distribution of movements, not after carrying over of the movements. I have distributed the movements here, and before carrying them forward, before carrying them here and there, again I am taking the sum, and on my calculator I find that this is something like 6.38 and that is something like negative 6.377, almost 6.38, so I am stopping here. And those values then I have just enlisted. Here I had to get negative 60 because these two would add up to negative 60, and all these you can make out, they are simply cancelling out each other. So I got negative 60, positive 60. Here I got the balance through the iterations, 6.38 and almost negative 6.38, and here the end moment is 3.115. Great, so that is the greatness of this method. If not 3 cycles, 4 cycles, 5 cycles, in exam, at most in 5 cycles you should get the answer, mostly you will get it in 3 cycles. What is my next step? here I am just going slightly conventionally and rather not by superposition principle. I have drawn AB, BC, CD. I have shown each end moment followed by using sigma m0 and sigma fy0. I have also calculated each end shear. And after calculating end shear, I am going for SFD, which I have not shown. But in my homework, I had drawn shear force diagram that SFD helps me in developing my BMD very quickly. Because area under SFD gives me change in bending moment. So if I know this bending moment, for example, hogging 3.115, add next area, you get next value. Add next area, you get next value. Successively, you are going to get next bending moment values. You are aware if point loads are causing the moments, variation is linear. If UDL is causing the moment, variation is parabolic. Again, point load is involved. So you are getting again linear variation, so on and so forth. Now, how to draw FBD, how to construct SFD, from that graphically how to develop BMD, all this we have seen n number of times in SOM, structural analysis 1, so I am not repeating it here. So, FBD followed by SFD in my homework and then followed by in conventional fashion on compression side, I have drawn BMD. So this is yet another problem solved using moment distribution method of continuous beam, but with a variation that the beam had an overhang. Welcome to the last problem on moment distribution method analysis of continuous beams. And in this problem, we are seeing how to handle sinking of support. And as I observed in earlier problem, that whether it is sinking or sway, all these are very efficiently, very comfortably handled in moment distribution method, and that is the reason why the method became tremendously popular with all the consulting offices. So let's see our new problem. This is a continuous beam. Support A is a fixed support. Interior supports B and C are roller supports. We also have an overhanging portion, that is portion CD. Spans are 4 meters, 6 meters, 2 meters. And in the loading we are observing 40 kilonewton at the midspan of AB. UDL of intensity 10 kilonewtons per meter over span BC of 6 meters. And then at the free end of the overhang, there is a 20 kilonewton gravity load. And the information given is delta B, that is the support B, sinks down by an amount of 10 millimeters, and EI, the flexural rigidity, is given as 20,000 kilonewton meter square. So we have to analyze this beam and draw bending moment diagram. Sinking of support, 10 millimeters of sink is given, and we are supposed to draw the BMD. So let us start. I am writing step 1, that is parameters calculation. Fixed end moment, just observe here how to incorporate, how to include the sinking of support idea. To calculate fixed end moment, I will read here also and I will show the diagrams also. In my first phase of diagram, you are observing the usual drawings where we are finding fixed end moments due to loads. Loads are load, span loads. So this is MFAB1. This is MFBA1. That means this is my part of the total calculation. This is MFBC1, this is MFCB1, and then we have MFCB. All these fixed end moments are entirely due to the span loads. And then something else is happening. There is sinking of support by 10 millimeters. So in my second phase of drawings, for fixed end moment calculations, I have shown support B sinking down by 10 millimeters, support A as it is. On the other hand, again support B sinking down by 10 millimeters, support C as it is. You can imagine portion CD will not be affected by B sinking down, since we are imagining complete fixity here. So when B sinks down, the additional moment generated due to sinking of B will be affecting support A, support B and support C only. So those moments I have shown as MFAB2. This is not square of the quantity, this is 2 indicating second quantity. This is MFBA2, this is MFBC2, this is MFCB2. And understand please, when this support goes down, these two movements have to be anti-clockwise. Whereas when I think of BC portion, when B goes down, these two movements have to be clockwise. So as a thumb rule, always remember that your movement arrowhead will always be towards the concavity of the deflection. You have concavity up, so I have the curve with arrowhead up, that is, it is clockwise. Here we have the concavity down, it is concave down, so I have the arrowhead also down, that is, it is an anti-clockwise movement. So this is something students have to understand, this is something students have to apply correctly. And now coming back to the calculations, MFAB is MFAB1 plus MFAB2. Standard result here PL upon 8 and standard result here 6 EI upon L square into delta. Also observe, this is anti-clockwise, this is anti-clockwise, so I am getting a summation here, and that is 20 plus 75, 95 kilonewton meter. So this is how I incorporate sinking of support in moment distribution method. No big deal, very simple idea. Going ahead, I am writing MFBA. It is going to be MFBA1 plus MFBA2, that is due to loads and due to sinking. Now please observe, this movement is clockwise whereas this movement is anti-clockwise. So in my calculations you are observing MFBA is equal to negative PL upon 8 plus 6 EI upon L square into delta, that is anti-clockwise is positive, clockwise is negative. Obviously the calculation remains same on substitution. So here I will get minus 20 plus 75, which is reducing to 55 kilonewton meter. MFBC, fixed end moment BC. So again I am observing, this is MFBC1, this is MFBC2, this is anti-clockwise but this is clockwise. That is due to loads alone it is anti-clockwise, but due to sinking of B it is clockwise. So my calculation is MFBC is equal to anti-clockwise, means positive WL squared by 12 standard result, and negative because clockwise 6 EI over L square into delta. I substitute W, I substitute L, I substitute EI. Obviously in all these expressions I am substituting delta as a 10 millimeters, means 10 into 10 power minus 3 meters, because all our units are kilonewtons and meters. And I am getting here 30 minus 33.33, that is negative 3.33. Please calculate, please check, confirm that you are getting the same answers, you are getting the same values. MFCB. So I look in my diagrams, this is MFCB1 plus MFCB2. I am observing that this is also clockwise, which is due to span loads, and this is also clockwise, which is due to sinking of support B. So I am writing negative WL squared by 12 for clockwise and negative 6 EI upon L squared into delta, that is again for clockwise. So I am getting negative 30 and negative 33.33. So negative 66.33 kilonewton meters. So that is our first step. All fixed end moments are found. Then we go as usual to finding stiffness factor and later on to finding distribution factor. So let us go through this quickly because this is a repetition. Each stiffness factor is simply going to be 4 EI upon L except the last one where we are going to say that D end is a free end. So CD has no stiffness at all. If I try to rotate member CD, since D is free, it would undergo free rotation. So I have written stiffness factor CD is 0. Other factors I am calculating using 4 EI upon L expression. L for member AB is 4 meters, for member BC is 6 meters. So you please calculate this, you please keep this ready. Next I am writing distribution factors, again very well known to us, again a pure routine for us. Distribution factor of AB is 0 because wall A will absorb entire moment or its stiffness is infinite. Distribution factor for BA is stiffness of BA upon sigma stiffness at B joint. So stiffness of BA we have written as 1 EI, whereas sigma stiffness at B joint means stiffness of BA plus stiffness of BC. So we already have calculated stiffness of BA as 1 EI, stiffness of BC as 0.67 EI. So 1 plus 0.67, I am writing 1.67. EI will get cancelled and I am getting 60% or 0.6. Then distribution factor for BC member. So it is simply going to be 1 minus 0.6 because total distribution has to be 100% or factor should be 1. Since this is 0.6, for the only other member, remaining member meeting at that joint is 1 minus 0.6. This we have done in our previous sum also and that is giving me 40% or 0.4. Distribution factor for CB is going to be 1 because we have already observed that the stiffness for CD is 0. So no movement will be resisted by CD, no movement will be absorbed by CD. Whatever movement I apply at joint C, it will be entirely absorbed by CB member. CD distribution factor is 0. So that is why we are writing distribution factor CB is 1. Distribution factor CD is 0. So you observe that except for our fixed end moment calculations, where sinking of support effect has also been included, rest of the things are completely repetitive, completely same. And now we go to step 2, that is moment distribution table. So I start with writing joint A, B, C, member AB, BA, BC, CB, CD. So all these members AB and BA, BC and CD, CD and DC. Actually AB and BA member is same, but since we are finding end moments, so MAB and MBA are different. That's why we are writing it like this. Next is distribution factors 0, 0.6, 0.4, 1, 0. All these values I am picking from here and I am simply putting in the table. Next row elements, next row entries, fixed end moments. We have calculated 95, 55, negative 3.33, negative 66.33, etc. etc. So only those I have written here and 40. This 40 is obvious. If you look at the portion CD, this is acting like a cantilever. So if I consider sigma m about C equal to 0, simply using principles of statics, I am getting fixed end moment, reactory moment here as 40, 20 into 2, anti-clockwise 40. That is what we have written here and that is what I am writing in the table. So great, our data is compiled, our data are ready, and now we go for observing balance. We have restrained the joints, that's why fixed end moments. So when I restrain the joint, I observe there is an imbalance here. I am not getting 55 and minus 55. That is how it should be. 55, any arbitrary figure I am choosing. I should get x and minus x, like that. Similarly, I am not observing balance here. I am not observing the balance. So, I try to balance. How much is the imbalance? 55 minus 3.33. That much is imbalance. So, I apply clockwise movement, that is negative movement, because imbalance is positive. 55 minus 3.33 would be something like 51.67, some figure close to that. Positive 51.67. So I apply negative 51.67 to balance it, which gets distributed as 51 into 0.6, 51 into 0.4. Do the calculations properly, because I don't have the figures in my hand. I am rounding off the figures and discussing, but you do the calculations correctly, and these figures are all written correct, because while writing this I had my calculator with me. So distribution is negative 31 and negative 20.67. Similarly, here we have negative 66.33 and positive 40, means there is an imbalance of negative 26.33. So what do? I apply positive 26.33 at joint C, means anti-clockwise 26.33 at joint C. Now what will happen, because this distribution factor is 1, this member will absorb that moment entirely, 26.33. And this distribution factor is 0, so 26.33 into 1, 26.33 into 0, my calculations fetch these results that I am writing. Similarly here, this is 95, I apply negative 95, however multiplying it by 0, I am getting a 0 here, means the entire negative 95, entire clockwise 95 has been absorbed by the rigid ball, immovable ball at A point. Great. These are my distributed moments. I apply moment, it gets distributed and then it gets carried over to the other end. Our carryover factor is 1/2. So that is what we are doing in next step. Half of negative 31 coming here, half of 0 and 0 going here. Half of negative 20.67 going there, half of positive 26.33 coming here. So my first cycle is over. Imbalance was found, balance was imposed, moments got distributed, moments got carried over. That is my cycle 1. Again I observe imbalance. There is an imbalance of positive 13.16. So I apply negative 13.16, which gets distributed as 60% and 40%, that is minus 7.9, minus 5.26. Here I observe I observe imbalance of negative 10.33. So I apply positive 10.33. It gets distributed as 100% and 0%. Check. Now I am sure you must have got the hang of the technique. It is as simple as that. Just observe the imbalance, apply equal and opposite balancing moment, distribute it. Similarly, negative 15.55. I apply positive 15.55. I get 0 because distribution factor is 0. So 15.55 into 0, I am writing this as 0. Now when you are solving this problem, right now also, later on also, while you are practicing, just develop a habit of talking like this to yourself. In exam you cannot talk aloud, but develop a mental habit of talking to yourself mentally, in your mind. Not openly, not aloud. The way I am talking. For example, movements have got distributed like this. Now carried over movements. So half of this comes here, half of this goes there, half of this goes there, half of this comes here. This is my second cycle of the movement distribution table finished. So I go ahead, observing this imbalance of 5.16, I apply negative 5.16. Gets distributed as 60%, 40%, negative 2.63. So I apply positive 2.63. I am getting 2.63 and 0. Negative 3.95. I apply positive 3.95, but distribution factor is 0. I get 0. So we have just done 2 cycles, and now before finishing this third cycle of carried over movements and all this, I just thought of taking a sum, and to my very big surprise, pleasant surprise, I am getting this summation to be positive 13 and this summation to be negative 30. That means the problem is such, the spans are such, the loading is such that I am getting balance just in 2 cycles. So great. If you find that you are reaching the balance just in 2 cycles, you can stop there. If you wish, you can further carry over these movements to the other end, again check the imbalance, again do one more cycle, you will definitely get a very good balance, acceptably accurate results. So as I said, I just thought of checking that let me check what is the error, what is the difference in 2 cycles, and to my very pleasant surprise, I did not get any non-acceptable error. This was quite acceptably close value. So I have stopped my moment distribution table here, and then I sum up these values, I sum up these values. I of course have already summed up these values, and these are my end moments. After these end moments, I draw FBD of AB, FBD of BC, FBD of CD according to positive or negative signs. I draw those end moments. Using sigma m, sigma fy, I find out these end shears, and once this is done, you are going to develop SFD just for the sake of calculating or drawing BMD. You need not draw SFD directly from this also. It is possible to develop BMD. So after FBDs, your last step is developing BMD. Since this is our last problem on continuous beams, I leave drawing BMD to the students only. After FBD, draw BMD. If you want, quickly develop SFD. SFD will help you generate BMD fast. So, in last problem we saw how to handle overhang, which we saw here also. And in this problem we have seen how to handle sinking of support. So with this, all the problems on continuous beams are over. And now in next lecture, we are going to see how to analyze frames using moment distribution method. We will start with non-sway frames and then we will go for sway frames. So, thank you very much. All the best wishes.